Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you own Gio Golf or Gio Golf Premium, you know that your scooter came with a blower fan and a heater, and it is controlled by this switch right here. So upper position will be just a blower fan, and lower position, if you click it on a down position, it will blow with a hot air from those 4 vents. Now you have to wait minute and a half to fill actual warm air. It's not going to be hot, but it's going to be warm enough. So you're going to see the difference between 2 positions. So if your blower is working in both positions, but the lower position does not blow in hot air, it's basically same temperature as upper position, then you need to check if your blower heater plug is plugged in. So let me show you where to look. You will need to go underneath of your machine and locate those 2 plugs that coming out from the actual blower heater itself. There's only 2 plugs. One plug with 4 wires and one plug with 2 wires. So make sure that this second plug with 2 wires is plugged in, no loose pins, no loose wires, and none of the pins are bent inside of the plug. So if you look inside, make sure that both pins are straight, none of them are touching plastic connector, otherwise they will not align with this second plug. Now, if you don't have any loose connections, you are confident about this, next step to measure if you have a voltage coming out from this male plug. It's supposed to have same voltage as coming out from the battery, which is 64, 65, 66 volts, depends how your battery is charged up. So you're supposed to have this power coming out from that connector all the time. Even if when the ignition switch is in off position, you're still supposed to have 65 volts coming out. So if you plug in male to female, you're supposed to have this voltage from the female side on the red and those 2 black wires. Either from there, or when you plug it in, you know the connection is good if you see with your multimeter that 65 volts coming from here. But if you already verified that voltage is good at those 2 connectors, I mean when they are plugged in, basically coming out from this one only. But if you verify the voltage coming in but still no hot air, the next step would be to check if a relay, because you have 2 relays on the top of the blower, if those relays are working. And the only way to check it is to do the continuity test. So for this you will need to turn on your fan in a lower position of the switch, which is a heater. Turn on the heater and then test if you have a continuity between those 2 wires. Unfortunately, you will have to rely on the digits, not on a beep on the multimeter, because multimeter you will not hear beeping noise unless you're going to have that multimeter close to your ear, because the blower fan will be blowing while you will be testing if there is a continuity on those 2 wires. So you will have to look on the display if the digits are changing when you're doing continuity test. I'll try to demonstrate it right now. It's probably not going to be very clear for you because the blower fan will be blowing and I'll be doing this underneath. I'll try to put my camera on the stand, on the tripod, and we'll see if it's going to happen. Okay, now I set my camera and I set my multimeter on a continuity test, and once I touch those 2 probes, it's going to make this noise. But I'm not going to hear that because I'm going to test it while blower is going to be on. So I will have to rely on a display. For example, when I'm not touching my two probes, I'm going to see just the off. But if I'm touching, I'm going to see those numbers 0, 0, 0, 1. That's how I know that continuity is okay between those two wires. So now I'm going to, inside of the cap, turn on the blower and do that test and look at the display. Anyway, you don't hear a beeping noise because of the blower, but by looking at the display, I can clearly see there is a continuity on those wires. So that's mean that those relays are working fine. That's how it's supposed to be. If you don't have continuity, if your tester is not registering continuity, you don't hear that beeping noise, your display is not changing when the blower is working, your display is sitting on the off and there is no digits, that means that you don't have continuity. That means that either one of the relays is faulty or actual heating fan is not working. I'm sorry guys, this is not that easy video to do underneath of the vehicle, but I was doing my best. So anyway, I'm going to repeat it one more time. With the blower fan, you're supposed to have continuity on this female plug that coming out from the blower. That's when you know that everything is working functioning properly, like in my case. But if you turn on that blower fan on a lower position where heat's supposed to be, and with the blowing fan you don't have continuity between those two wires, that means you have either problem with one of the relays or the heating element. So your heater must be replaced. It's not very often that I see it's happening to anyone, but it's pretty possible. So when it comes to replacing a heater, the best way would be if you remove this lining right here, so you will have better access to those hoses. And you will need a stubby. I'm sorry, I went too far away from the camera. Okay, so when it comes to replacing that heater element, the base would be if you remove this lining, only 2 bolts, as you can see, holding to the frame, and then you will have better access to all of those hoses for the, I'm sorry, maybe you're gonna see it this way better, but here all of those clamps for the flex hoses. So you will need a stubby screwdriver, short one like this, to go with your hand underneath and loosen those 4 clamps for the flexible hoses. After that, you just need to remove those 3 bolts that hold the fan to the base and pull it out from this side right here. There is lots of room. Otherwise, in order to replace it from the top, you will have to remove the entire hood, bumper. There is way too much work. I would say it's much easier to do it from the inside. Obviously, I'm showing this without removing a wheel, which is probably going to be more convenient for you. If you remove wheel, you will have even more access. Lift up your front end of the vehicle. So whatever needs to be done to make it happen. And that blower fan is only 2 plugs. Once you unplug those 2 plugs and those 3 bolts and 4 clamps, it will come out right here. There is lots of room. So this is it. This is how you diagnose your heater. Alright, I hope that was helpful, and it's a matter of doing it under 1 hour, I would say, totally with the diagnostic procedure like I showed you. Alright guys, God bless you. Bye.